So the first week or the first year we can actually cover is 2020 or 2017 for your pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. This was the first year that DraftKings had salaries for this event. As a reminder, I covered this in the tournament and golf course information segment. We have a different golf course, or the last 2 years have been different golf courses than previous years. So 2017, we had TPC Las Colinas. 2018, 2019, we had Trinity Forest Golf Club. Most of that doesn't really matter when it comes to these pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. But in case I just want to provide that for you if you think it matters on your end. I personally don't think it matters on my end. I just want to look at the salaries that find their way at the top of the leaderboard. And we'll start here again in 2017. So your optimal lineup left $2,500 on the table. That's unrealistic. I would never advocate for leaving that much money on the table, but that optimal lineup did have a 10K golfer in it. And then 1 8, 3 7s, and a 6. So not a terrible way to build. Very cheap, obviously. Leaving $2,500 on the table it's difficult. I would never advocate for that. So I created a realistic lineup, which I probably could have created a little more realistic lineup. Basically what we had was all the golfers here in blue. A 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, 8, 7, 7, 6. So I think what I did here was try to follow the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. But I think what you could do is maybe sub out Benny Ann to Matt Kuchar, and you would leave zero money on the table. It'd be a much easier lineup to build because most of us are leaving somewhere between $0 to $200 on the table. This would most likely still take down a GPP. I don't have the GPP winning lineup up for 2017. I don't know what it is, but I bet you with 5 golfers inside the top 10 plus 1 in the top 13 or 13th place, I should say, you're probably taking down a GPP with that lineup. So either way, it starts 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. It's just more balanced when it comes to the 10, 9, 8. Just to kind of go over it again, it'd be a $10,100 Jason Day, a $9,200 Tony Finau. Now, again, I'm skipping Benny Ann. We're going to an $8,700 Matt Kuchar, so that's more on the upper range of the 8K. But then we have a $7,800 Bud Cauley, $7,500 James Hahn, and a $6,700 Billy Horschel. So it seems kind of, when you read the names off and you kind of put the salaries next to them, it seems pretty conservative. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a risky lineup. Billy Horschel at $6,700, that's crazy that there was ever a time where he was, $6,700. But how the times have changed. That was your 2017 optimal lineup and realistic lineup. We didn't have a GPP winning lineup there. 2018, I also don't have a GPP winning lineup, but our optimal had 0 10K golfers. We started with a $9,400 Brendan Grace. Then we went to a $9,100 Mark Leishman, $8,800 Aaron Wise, who was also in the field this week, by the way. He took a long sabbatical for mental health reasons, so maybe it's a good time to play Aaron Wise this week. $7,800 Keith Mitchell, $7,400 JJ Spawn, and $7,200 Kevin Na. This used up $49,700, so you only left $300 on the table. Pretty balanced. So we have 1 week or 1 year where it was a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. We have another year. That was more of the realistic in 2017. Here in 2018, your optimal was a very balanced build. Going to 2019, I also didn't have a GPP winning lineup. The optimal left $900 on the table. I bet you we probably can create a realistic lineup that's closer to $50,000. But in this optimal, you used an $11,400 Brooks Koepka, $9,000 Rory Sabatini, not a Rory McIlroy, Rory Sabatini, $8,400 Scott Piercy, $7,300 Sung Hoon Kang, $6,700 Matt Every, and a $6,300 Tyler Duncan. So that left $900 on the table. I just see we can sub out Tyler Duncan for Peter Uihlein, and that gets us $49,600. I don't think we can make any other substitutions that are nearby. Yeah, it doesn't quite work out. I mean, I guess we would have to take out Matt Every. Sure. How about we do that? Matt Every. This would be okay. So this one would be 49,800. So basically, we do something like this, where we'd go $11,400 Brooks Koepka, $9,000 Rory Sabatini, $8,400 Scott Piercy, $7,300 Sung Kang, and then we come down to a $7,500 Matt Jones and a $6,300 Tyler Duncan. So 11,980 or 10,980, 776. So you could also do that here, and I bet you this would also take down a GPP. But yeah, your optimal left $900 on the table. Hard to do, by the way, hard to do. Moving on to 2021, where we actually are playing at the TPC Craig Ranch Golf Course. We do have a GPP winning lineup and an optimal. Your optimal left $800 on the table, and it was all your golfers here at the top. So it was another $10,000 golfer. So this is what, 4 years? No, I'm sorry. In 2018, we didn't have a $10,000 golfer, but now this is the third year out of 4 years. We have a $10,000 golfer in the optimal lineup. We also have a 9K golfer, an 8K golfer, a 7, a 7, and a 6, leaving $800 on the table. So 1098, 776. You know, I advocate for that every single week, and here we go. We have it here. Your GPP winning lineup. By the way, the optimal that week scored 786.5, and your GPP winning lineup scored 719. So there's like a 70-point difference between the two. Your GPP winning lineup used KH Lee. It also used Daniel Berger at 10,100, Schwartzel at 81, and Kazire at 73. Those were all part of the optimal lineup. But instead of having Sam Burns, they had Will Zalatoris, and instead of having Scott Stallings, they had Carlos Ortiz. This used up $49,900, which makes sense. That's a little bit easier to get to. Now let's see, can we create something that would have scored more points that was closer to the optimal? I imagine we still have to include Sam Burns. This leaves us with, I mean, this uses up 41,700. So basically an $8,300 golfer or less doesn't make it easy. Yeah, I guess not. Perhaps that GPP wing lineup was probably the closest realistic lineup. Like, we have to make some serious concessions. Like, these guys scored so many points compared to everyone else that you couldn't really make a substitution. You wouldn't want to. 124. Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, okay, we obviously could and still beat the GPP wing lineup, but it really wouldn't work out. Like, I guess let's take out Kazire and Schwartzel. Maybe put in Spieth and Merritt. Does that work? No, can't do Spieth. Too expensive. I just don't see really a way. Because there's no one here that's like within a price tag that we want to use. Like $8,700 Harris English is the only person, but he scored 96.5 points. So yeah, I'm just not gonna try. Honestly, there's no point in trying to get closer. You basically have your optimal or you have your GPP winning lineup. Those are the easiest ones to get to. You're not leaving a ton of money on the table. There's no point to. It's difficult to do. Please don't do that. 49.2 is probably the most I would ever leave. On $800 is the most I would ever leave on the table, and I would only do this very few times. I wouldn't do this, you know, if I'm creating 100 lineups, I'm not doing this in over 4% of my lineups. Just not doing that. So, anyways, I tried, didn't work out. In 2022, let's move on. In 2022, your optimal lineup left $900 on the table once again. Now, again, I'm not advocating for leaving a lot of money on the table. It's difficult to do, but we're seeing a trend. And in 2022, your optimal started with Jordan Spieth, then it went to Hideki Matsuyama. So $10,100 to a $9,900 Hideki Matsuyama. Then we went to basically 3 7Ks and a 6K. That got us 49,100. That was your optimal lineup in 2022. Your GPP winning lineup was really close, by the way. It used up Jordan Spieth, KH Lee, Munoz, Palmer, Xander Schauffele, $9,700, and then Matt Kuchar. So your optimal scored 827.5. Your GPP winning lineup scored 805. So there's like 25-point difference, or 22-point difference, excuse me, between the two. That's a really good lineup. Let's see, what did they use? They went 10, 9, and 4 sevens. That is what it looks like. 10, 9, and 4 sevens. Kind of like that build this week, by the way. 10, 9, and 4 sevens. Now, I did create a realistic optimal that was closer to 50,000 that still beat the GPP winning lineup. This one beat it by 8 points. Basically, you would start with a 10K golfer and Justin Thomas. Then you go to Matsuyama, KH Lee, 2 sevens, and a 6. So it was basically a 10, 9, 3 sevens, and a 6. Couldn't do the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6, but this is, you know, a very close iteration of that. So that was your pass optimal in GPP winning lineups for the AT&T Byron Nelson. Personally, I guess if I was to come up with a conclusion here, I think we want to start with a 10K golfer. There are only 2 10K golfers in the field, by the way. So let's move on to 2023. There are only 2 10K golfers in the field. That might be a bit difficult. And I guess if I go to my bucket system and we go down to the salaries, what are our projections? Pretty high. The projection's 0 to 2 to be inside the top 10. It's a very high success rate of 10K golfers being inside the top 10 at this event. And basically, I like to use the bucket system to determine how comfortable I should be in playing, you know, whatever stat that I'm looking at. So obviously, we're looking at salaries. I've got no issue playing a 10K golfer. Now, there is a chance that 0 of the 10K golfers finish inside the top 10, because also one thing you need we need to look at is how many do we see per year, which is 4, versus how many do we see this year, which is 2. Not great at all. So got to keep that in mind. What I would say, don't play both of the 10K golfers. Sure, you might get a lot of leverage out of it, but it might be difficult to build lineups. Well, I guess with that being said, you know, there are some years where I think you could probably play 2 10K golfers, right? Yeah, the lineup that I did, 2 10K golfers here, 49,200 would be your price tag here using 2 10K golfers. How many points would we have scored? $750.5. That still takes down a GPP. So in 2021, we certainly could have done it. We could add 2 10K golfers. There are 2 10K golfers inside the top 10 of 2022. Can we build a lineup with these golfers? Yes, we can. This one, $49,800. So it would be JT 10-6, 10-1 Jordan Spieth, 3 7K golfers, and a 6K golfer. So how many points does this score? Does this take down a GPP? That would be funny. I'm sure some of you guys were like, that's a more realistic lineup. Like, just, you know, select those golfers. This scores 815 points, which is 10 points higher than the GPP winning lineup, and it's actually 2 points higher than my realistic lineup that I had created. I just don't find it realistic to put 2 10K golfers in your lineup, but here we go. 2021 and 2022, you could have put 2 10K golfers together and built a GPP winning lineup that way. Remember, though, that's when we had additional 10K golfers. Like we only have 2 this week. So in 2022, here are your 10K golfers: Spieth, DJ, Justin Thomas, and Sky Scheffler. Pretty good company, right? And then in 2021, who are our 10K golfers? Don't mind the alts up here. The sorting thing is stupid sometimes. DeChambeau, John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, Hideki, and Daniel Berger. So 5 10K golfers and pretty good. You know, you could use those 10K golfers from 2021, battle against the 10K golfers in 2022, and you'd have a pretty even match. So the fact that 2 10K golfers came from that the chances were pretty high. We only have two 10K golfers in 2023. Might not be the best time to play two 10K golfers, despite me showing you that it's been working at this event. Probably hold off on that. I'll talk more about salaries when we get into the bucket system, but just trying to, like go over the things that I just saw with the pass optimal and GPP winning lineup. So I guess keep all of that in mind.